Kia ora and welcome to Beer Jet's Beer Club. This week we are drinking a beer from Garage Project, which is Red Dog. I'm Luke.
I'm Joe.
What kind of beer is this?
It's a red rice and red miso IPA. Yes.
Very cool.
Fingernails.
We
Help.
I definitely can't help.
I got it.
We don't see a lot of Garage Project beers in our Beer Club subscription, hey?
No, we don't. The seasonals they produce are always super exciting.
Yeah.
There's always so many of them, but they just sell super quick. And we need a decent volume, so
Yeah.
can't always lock them in.
But this is a cool beer. It was it one of the ones that was done for Burger Wellington?
Yeah, so every year during Wellington on a Plate, which I think is the month of August, for the Burger Wellington competition, Garage Project brew 3 unique new beers. So some of them have reached their sort of core range, like Chipper, and I think Electric Dry Hop Acid Test was one. And their sort of seasonal range, like Raspberry Cabaret. One of my favorites when I first moved back to New Zealand was the Zitrona Weiss citrus wheat beer. It's so good.
Yeah. It was a great one.
Yeah, drunk a lot of that in the garden during the August 2021 lockdowns. But yeah, so this was part of this year's 3.
And Burger Wellington's huge, right?
Yeah, it's like everyone who sells food in Wellington, almost. Not every restaurant, but a lot of them enter. It's a huge thing.
Yeah, it seems like just the real buzz, and it's usually happening around like Beervana August time, and just so many people talking about sort of the excitement of ticking off the different burgers.
Yeah, there's like Facebook groups where some people actually do achieve almost every burger, if not every burger, which is wild.
So Red Dog, really cool artwork, and made with red miso and red rice.
Yeah.
Do you ever eat red rice?
Is that the rice that's actually purple, or is that black rice?
Maybe there's various kinds. Like I've been eating a bit of black rice recently, and I've got red rice. It's sort of like a pinky colour. And when you cook it, it's more got the consistency of more like couscous. So it's sort of quite sort of granular and bitty. Doesn't stick together at all. But yeah, good to have some variety in your rice consumption. And yeah, so the rice incorporated in there. I'm not sure how much difference red rice would have made compared to white rice, but I suppose it is a different plant and the starches would act differently.
Yeah.
But it'll be used for the same reason that just regular white rice is used in rice lagers and light beers to give you just a light body. So you get the starches convert into sugars, which become alcohol, but you get the real lightness and crispness. So famously, you have beers like Japanese rice lagers like Asahi that are just totally like really straw coloured and really light, and so that would have been why rice was incorporated in here. And also, it's a cool culinary thing to sort of throw in the mix.
Yeah, it's an ingredient that I don't think I've ever tried a beer with red rice in it.
No.
Not that if you told me, didn't tell me this had it, I would have noticed it necessarily, but
yeah.
It's cool, and it's something Garage Project often do, is just push the boat and try new things.
And then red miso, which is a clever thing to add to a beer like this, I think.
Yeah, so obviously miso's known for adding umami, which is that, is it 5th, 6th sense or taste on top of like sour. Yeah. So yeah, real savory addition, and yeah, like all things fermented over time, it brings so much depth. So red miso is like the miso you sort of normally buy would be Shiro miso, which is like white, even though it's not.
Yeah.
And then red miso is aged. So over time sort of develops a darker color. It is the Maillard reaction, which is what browns proteins.
Okay.
Is the browning of proteins. So yeah.
So red miso is just white miso that's been left for ages, and just it sort of continues to ferment and age and oxidize.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Miso's a a historical thing, so there's so many different types. But yeah, normally miso is just soybean, rice, and koji.
Yep.
You can add other grains like barley, buckwheat, so on, which will alter the color. But yeah, I think generally red miso is white miso that's been aged for up to sort of 2 years.
Yeah.
And after a few months, it really starts to deepen in color and flavor. So it gives you that real sort of fullness and continuity. Like that's part of what umami is. Yeah, just amazing for a style of beer like this where you really do benefit from the Maillard reaction at so many different stages.
Well, that's it. Brown. Just that, so semi, amber ales and red IPAs and these styles that do really benefit from the Maillard reaction. That just gives it character and complexity and layers.
Yeah, like the kilning of the barley, that's Maillard reaction. So taking, the same grains that can make a lager super pale can make a stout super dark just through roasting them. And yeah, when you're boiling these beers, you're getting a little bit of sort of scorch and Maillard reaction in the bottom. So some of the proteins, converting and adding that sort of deep, full flavor.
And that is an interesting thing that I think a lot of people don't realise. All of the different kinds of malt you use in a beer and speciality malts and the biscuit malts and dark and smoked, it's all the same plant. It's barley that's been malted and kilned, and it's just kiln just means baked, kilned for different amounts of time. So when you go to the home brew shop and you see the array of 30 different kinds of barley, and they all taste different. Some do taste like coffee and some taste like rich tea biscuits.
And they say, this one's chocolate, and it tastes sweeter somehow. Than the one, that's super bitter and dark.
And that's just how long it's baked in the kiln for, which is, the Maillard reaction, just stuff going brown with the time.
It's obviously the caramelization of sugars as well. But there is protein in barley and wheat and all those things, and that can undergo the Maillard reaction.
And miso, for me, I always think of it when I cook with it, it's sort of like, I often use it as stock cubes, basically. And it is salt, which, as we've spoken about a few times, salt is a great ingredient to use in a beer. And when you're working through your water chemistry, you really need to consider the salt content. And we've definitely had beers, not in Beer Club, but we've had beers from breweries that have gone a bit heavy on the salt. And it's been a hazy pale ale, and it's had a kind of odd savoury character. It's been quite unique when the balance is a bit off, or not to my taste, I suppose. Salt's been a wonderful thing to elevate flavours.
100%. If you're cooking anything or mixing a cocktail, a little pinch of salt or some saline. I've never tried it with coffee, but I've definitely read that some people either put like a little pinch of salt in the cone as they're doing a pour over or something, or just that they measure out saline and add it to their espresso drinks. Just to heighten the fruitiness, heighten the sweetness. Cool food science.
I don't know if anyone in New Zealand's done an MSG beer. I know sort of internationally, sort of 5 or 6 years ago,
really?
I remember reading about a few different MSG infused beers.
I would think MSG naturally occurs in miso, like it does in tomatoes and things like that.
I think so.
But that would be interesting. I don't know where you'd take it, but people have done like Vegemite beers and stuff, haven't they?
Probably done everything, Yorkshire puddings. And so really interesting beer, and unsurprisingly from Garrick Project, who are the most interesting, innovative and fucking impressive brewery in the country, and one of the most impressive breweries on earth. And it's never ending, the innovation and the projects coming out of Garrick Project, and just that impressive, I suppose, innovation and thirst and curiosity, because they do a lot of stuff that fails, or they try a lot of projects that just get wrapped up, and some things work. You need to kiss a lot of frogs, I suppose.
I think they're they've tried the dirty water, so fermented seltzer drinks. Obviously, they tried wine for a while. But I mean...
they decided to sort of call that a day on the wine
and
after a few years.
Just the exploration of sort of what's possible and what people are enjoying, how can they add their own twist, and yes, I mean, you just look at the names of the breweries who send their brewers to Harpy conference every year, and it's, you know, some of the world's most highly thought of breweries.
And of every size, you know, it's like Firestone Walker, Sierra Nevada, and then you've got your Omnipollo, and
they come to Nelson to hear Garage Project talk, and experts sort of working on research that is tied in with the Harpy program.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, even just their collaborators, you sort of look at that list and it's like a who's who of amazing beer around the world.
Yeah, it's cool to see a brewery that are so outward looking. I think in any country, in any industry, it can definitely be insular, and we were just talking earlier about how surprising it is. Often you'll chat to brewers and they won't know about sort of new developments or new styles, and they'll just say, "Oh, I basically just drink low fills, and I just drink stuff that I brew," and that's surprising for me that someone that's very curious, and some of the beers that we make at Small Gods. I'm always really keen to taste things and see what people are doing with thiles, and what the latest pastry sours are happening, and there's great stuff in every corner of the world coming out, and there definitely is a sense of, I don't know what it is in New Zealand, that we're just better than everyone.
Yeah, it is something, definitely, especially like every year we import beer for the advent calendar, and you have some people saying, why, I bought this advent calendar, why is there Australian beer in it?
Acting as though it's cheap shit.
Yeah.
That we've got some bargain, discount, Aussie crap.
Yeah. And
it's from like Mountain Culture and Deeds and Range, these great breweries.
Yeah. And yeah, there is that perception of, beer in America sucks.
Yeah.
Beer in Australia sucks. Beer in the UK. What? Like, I couldn't find good, and it's,
I think because we're so far from everywhere, probably the All Blacks don't really help, and just like great sporting performance across, the Olympics and things. And also, beer in New Zealand is fantastic. The hops here are fantastic. And like New Zealand meat is great. So, I suppose people haven't really tried good American beers and good Danish beers and good Belgian beers. Or maybe the ones they have had have been sort of like in a not temperature controlled container, and it's a bit screwed by something gets here. So you try a can of AleSmith and it's like, actually this sucks.
And I hate Belgian beer because I had like Leffe once
that
had been sitting in a hot pack and save for like 12 months before it got sold.
But Garage Project, they're traveling. They're going to festivals internationally, and they've got the finger on the pulse, and they are at the bleeding edge of things like Happy with sort of hop farming and development, and things like Phantasm, which is this like really interesting byproduct from the winemaking process that adds styles into your beer, and with new sort of genetically modified yeasts that can really enhance that. There's really interesting new developments. But across like the Garage Project Wild Workshop, and they've had a lot of haters over the years.
Yeah, and that is another sort of classic thing that you notice when you spend a lot of time, I guess in New Zealand, around the world as well, is like, it is cool to hate on the cool guy. People are just like, oh no, they're too good, they think they're too good, all that kind of stuff.
And there were times in the early years, I remember all the sort of all the 330 Garage Project cans that were coming out with that had like the shrink wrap sleeves, and they just looked a bit like the applications were a bit crap, and there were poor beers that came out in the earlier days, or beers that the balance wasn't great, or perhaps some faults, which I certainly haven't seen in the last 8 or 10 years from Garage Projects. And as the cool kids, like cool artwork, everyone sort of loves to love them, so it's kind of cool to hate on Garage Project. But definitely is a thing in the industry that you hear a little bit of sometimes, which is the green-eyed monster, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe I should get ahead of the curve and start hating on some of the like coolest things at the moment.
Yeah.
Tiger Milk. I can't like it anymore. Too many people like it. I gotta be cool.
Yeah, we need to just like stop getting kegs of Tiger Milk here at the bar. So yeah, Garage Project, and also like fermenting everything. Like they do a hot sauce maybe once a year, sort of fermented in barrels.
Yeah,
well, we've done a couple at least.
Yeah, sour beer, I think is its.
Well, it is, yeah. Yeah, I think it is like 2% ABV or something.
Yeah.
And, aged in barrels, and but yeah, so cool to see. I think a lot of other people, a lot of other businesses in their position, sort of seeing how these skyrocketed and became so successful, would not take the chances, and also wouldn't invest the money into the sort of things that they invest into, because it's clearly not going to be a super profitable venture to make your own hot sauce or to try and turn Snug into a Guinness competitor.
Ambitious.
Yeah, which still could happen. I'd still love to see them put another push behind that.
Does Guinness need a competitor in New Zealand? It's not really that big here.
Yeah, good
although
point.
It's big in the UK at the moment, so next year it'll be really big.
Oh god. And yeah, just things like the beer. They bought a load of those those Luca tap units that do the side pours. You can have like Lecco pours, and try to get those into different bars so that people can have a dedicated beer tap. And so yeah, they take chances. They're innovative. It's a cool, massive business. Definitely one of the bigger producing craft brewers in New Zealand. I don't know where they'd be production-wise. Obviously, most of the beer isn't made at the garage. It's made at B Studio up in Napier. But it will be, I guess, them and Parrot Dog as the bigger producers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Behemoth maybe, but
yeah, they certainly do a lot of SKUs. Yeah. So yeah, great beer, Red Dog.
Yeah.
Good to have some miso in a
very
beer.
Good. Yeah. Didn't really mention the hops, but it is a very hoppy beer as well.
Yeah. Kahato, Mosaic, and Nelson. Mosaic's such a great hop.
Yeah. Just a really balanced sort of mix of hops. You've got that sort of citrus.
Yeah.
Bit of sort of sweet mango, and a little bit of sort of resiny character to complement the big sort of malt body.
And it does have I feel like I'm talking about biscuits a lot, but it is kind of biscuity, but not in the sweet way. And it's got that. It is a dry finish. It is savoury, as you'd expect for a beer with a load of miso in it.
Would you say that's crackery, or is that a slur that I shouldn't say on YouTube?
Yeah, crackers and biscuits are very different. Yeah. You're talking about like wheat and we'll discuss later the difference between and American biscuits. Let's not go into that.
Scones.
Nelson, always great, and just chewy red malt profile. Everyone loves a red IPA. That great, fantastic balance. All right, good work, Garage Project. Bit of a gush fest, but rightly so. When someone's right, they're right. Other stuff happening. All about advent calendars at the moment. The premium advent calendars. There's maybe 100 left still available. They've mostly sold out. If you've not got one yet, get online and get your premium advent calendar, because we're shipping them in about 2 weeks. And we've got a whole bunch of interesting stuff coming up at the tap room. Thursday night quizzes every week. Monday run clubs. Looking forward to more summertime sessions.
And gigs on Fridays. There's a couple gigs. Obviously, we're not necessarily directly promoting them because of how we want to work with artists. We want them to keep all of the proceeds.
Yep. All the ticket sales go to the artists.
Yes. But I don't know, if you go on Event Finder and put us in as a venue, would you see everything?
Well, we're getting the word out there as well.
Yeah.
So you'll find it on Small Gods Tap Room social media, so Facebook events. And
forget we have more than a website.
Yeah, probably not the website. So whole bunch happening. All right, thanks for joining us. Great Garage Project. Cheers, Joe.
Cheers.